Hello, I'm Paul LeBlanc. I'm president of Southern New Hampshire University. It's my pleasure to welcome you to this live stream event. We've been waiting for a long time to do a commencement ceremony. If you are one of our students watching today from any place in the world, know how proud we are of you. If you are a friend or a family member who helped that student get across the finish line, understand how important your role has been. We sometimes say it takes a village to raise a child. We think it takes a village to get a graduate across the finish line. Let the commencement ceremonies begin.
Graduates, you have your whole lives ahead of you. Every single day is an opportunity to follow up on the extraordinary education you've received through SNHU. Many of you have already lived through incredible sacrifices. Some of you will become writers, designers, and engineers. But no matter what path you take, be informed.
Congratulations. When you look back at the last year of your life, I want you to reflect on how hard you've worked. And I want you to know how proud we are of you.
Hello, graduates. I'm Dr. Jeff Zarnick, and on behalf of your incredible faculty, advising, and all the wonderful people here that supported you through your journey, congratulations from all of us. Yes, this is the first step. It's not the last, is it? This is when the real work begins. You've accumulated a great deal of knowledge. You've stayed up late at night, working hard, developing those skills of grit, perseverance, and communication, critical thinking, and compassion. So once again, congratulations and best wishes to all of you.
Oh my goodness, look at that! Master's degree! I did it! I got it today.
I have a lot of respect and admiration for the coming graduates, and that's just a great job. We all know how much time it takes to do the discussion board post and all the readings. A great job on hard work, and hopefully you'll find success.
Congratulations, you made it, and keep going. It doesn't stop. Take that same fire and intensity to push you towards your next journey, your next career, and don't ever stop believing in yourself.
As you start to graduate, you start to come to the end of your degree, just think about the good work that you're going to do with it. Be humble. Don't forget where you come from. Don't forget what it was like when you were just starting out. Don't be afraid to reach back and help somebody else. Leverage the different resources that they need to be successful. If you've accomplished something this great, you're in a position to help somebody else.
To keep pushing towards your dreams. Sometimes we think that no one sees us as we're working hard, but you never know who's watching you from the shadows, and you're inspiring them. So as we continue to push towards our goals, we're helping others without even knowing it.
I keep looking at it and I'm nervous, I'm excited, because I know I worked really hard for it and it's finally here. It's right here. I did it. Bachelor of Arts, Graphic Design and Media, Jesus G. Suarez. I did it. And it's here. Once I opened it, it was real. And I walked through the finish line. I got it. It's a fabulous feeling to have.
Hi everyone, this is Paul LeBlanc, president of the university, and I just want to offer my hearty congratulations to all of our graduates. It's been an extraordinary year. It's not the year you or we banked on. I think it's a testimony to your grit and resilience that you are graduating now, and this year was challenging for you and for everybody concerned, but it will be in some ways the year that you remember best. And it's easy to say, yeah, because it was such a terrible year. But in fact, it will be the year you remember best because it was a year in which you overcame so much and you achieved so much. So on behalf of the whole SNHU community, know that we couldn't be more proud, we couldn't be happier for you, and we welcome you into the SNHU alumni family.
Hello and welcome. I am Dr. Danny Tangway, and I have the pleasure of introducing our first group of graduates tonight. With the faculty and graduates of Southern New Hampshire University's College for America programs, please rise if you are able. President LeBlanc, I am pleased to introduce the newest graduates of Southern New Hampshire University's College for America programs. Our graduates have acquired the knowledge, skills, professional dispositions, and competencies they need to succeed in their careers. These graduates will enter a more complex, dynamic, interconnected, and demanding environment than the graduates before them. Through their studies at SNHU and their real-world experiences, they are prepared to succeed in the highly challenging environment that awaits them. These graduates transition from being yesterday's students to being today's professionals and tomorrow's leaders. Additionally, please allow me to thank the many faculty, associate deans, advisors, and staff who have contributed to the success of these learners. Your work will have lifelong positive impact on the lives of these graduates. Congratulations to the graduates of SNHU's College for America programs. Please be seated.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Michelle Hill. Would the graduates of Southern New Hampshire University's Clinical Mental Health Counseling Program please rise if you are able? President LeBlanc, distinguished guests, faculty and administration, families, colleagues, friends, and advisors, please join me in welcoming the graduates of Southern New Hampshire University's Graduate Program in Counseling. The mission of the Masters in Clinical Mental Health Counseling program is to empower new generations of counselors by transforming the lives of our students and through them, the clients and communities that they will serve. To achieve this, we offer innovative, experiential counselor education. We create an inclusive learning environment, and we nurture authentic relationships. We recognize that earning a degree in counseling is more than just acquiring a base of knowledge and theories. It is about forming an identity as a healer. The journey from novice to expert takes many years. The completion of a master's degree is an important step in that journey. So today, the faculty and staff of the counseling program at SNHU are proud to present these graduates who have, by their hard work and perseverance, demonstrated that they are ready to take the next step in their journeys, that they are well prepared to have a positive impact on the lives of others, and who are grounded in an ethical practice that promotes unconditional positive regard and cultural humility towards themselves and towards others. As described by our counseling faculty, these graduates have been resilient through a global pandemic and so many challenges in the world, working in your communities as interns while also working full-time. As mental health is discussed more openly, more than ever, the world needs your gifts and talents as healers. Be sure to remain open. Continue to learn, grow, and stretch yourselves. The counseling profession requires this. It is also important to be adaptable and pivot in order to meet clients where they are and in the context in which they live. And don't forget to find ways to take care of yourselves. We appreciate all of your hard work and dedication as you have accomplished something amazing. Please join me in welcoming the newest graduates of SNHU's Graduate Counseling Program. Please be seated.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Gail Tudor with the faculty and graduates of SNHU's Health Professions Program. Please rise if you are able. President LeBlanc, I am pleased to introduce the newest graduates of Southern New Hampshire University's Health Profession Programs. Our health profession graduates will enter the healthcare industry prepared with academic degrees, expertise, and experience in an impressive array of disciplines and specializations, including healthcare administration, health information management, community health, health sciences, and public health. These graduates are prepared to promote a culture of health within a diverse society, ready to meet the challenges of an ever-evolving healthcare system. Our graduates have acquired the knowledge, skills, professional dispositions, and competencies they need to succeed in their careers. These graduates will enter a more complex, dynamic, interconnected, and demanding environment than the graduates before them. Through their studies at SNHU and their real-world experiences, they are prepared to succeed in the highly challenging environments that await them. These graduates transition from being yesterday's students to being today's professionals and tomorrow's leaders in the health field. Additionally, please allow me to thank the many faculty, associate deans, advisors, and staff who've contributed to the success of these learners. Your work will have lifelong positive impact on the lives of these graduates. Congratulations to the newest graduates of SNHU's Health Professions Programs. Please be seated.
Good evening. My name is Dr. Peggy Moriarty-Litz. With the faculty and graduates of Southern New Hampshire's University's nursing programs, please rise if able. President LeBlanc, I would like to introduce you to the newest members of Southern New Hampshire University's nursing programs. Our students will enter the healthcare field prepared with academic degrees and experience in quality and safety initiatives using evidence-based practice in order to care for the diverse needs of our communities. These graduates have demonstrated the knowledge, skills, attitudes, and professional competencies required to be successful within their careers. They will enter a highly complex healthcare environment in the evolving leadership roles that will await them. 2020 and 2021 have been designated as the Year of the Nurse, and nurses are more important than ever. Let's celebrate these graduates as they transition from being today's learners to tomorrow's transformational leaders. At this time, I would like to take a moment to thank the nursing faculty, associate deans and directors, clinical placement staff, and advisors who have supported these graduates throughout their academic journey. Your support has made a difference in the success of these graduates' careers. Thank you very much, and congratulations to the newest graduates of SNHU's nursing programs. Please be seated.
Hello, and welcome everyone. My name is Dr. Jennifer Batchelor, Senior Vice President of SNHU. It is my great pleasure to welcome all of the families, friends, faculty, staff, and of course our graduates, who are with us here today or watching via live stream. We're all very excited to finally be able to celebrate with you today. I would like to now ask everyone, if you are able, to please rise for the singing of our national anthem, sung this afternoon by Jessica Caldwell, Director of Academic Advising at SNHU.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you. Be seated, please. Hi, everyone. I'm Paul LeBlanc. I'm president of the university. It's just so delightful to be with you here. We waited a long time to do a graduation together back in this arena. It's been almost 2 years. And I know there have been, some of you have been waiting a long time to have this day with us in your caps and gowns. I've heard about some impromptu celebrations along the way when we were live streaming and doing things on Zoom. But it's just great to see you, and it's great to see your family and your friends. We are a little more spaced out than we would typically be. We're a little more sparse on the stage than we would typically be. We are still living with the pandemic. But if we are a little bit less full in terms of how many people we can bring together, we are no less full in our hearts about your accomplishment and what you've done. This is, like all of our graduation celebrations, really a sort of a celebration of your academic achievement, of your work, of meeting and getting across the finish line. And it's a celebration also of all the people who have supported you. I got a chance to walk around a little bit beforehand to meet some of the families. One of my favorite noises at graduation is the noises of children cheering for their moms and dads. I love the sort of fact that this is a family event. And we urge all of you to thank your family and friends who are here. You know, Dr. Laurie Santos is a Yale psychologist, very famous. She does a podcast called The Happiness Lab. And she, if you haven't heard it or haven't listened to it, it's really wonderful, especially I think of our folks in mental health who are here tonight. And Laurie was a graduation speaker during the pandemic, and I had an opportunity to also interview her. And I talked about what was lost in this, the fact that we were going to do a particular graduation and we weren't going to be physically together, and what we were losing in that. And she said, yeah, that part's really hard. And there's a lot of things that are hard about where we are today. She said, but the folks who graduate now may be among the most closely bonded, the ones who most prize this graduation, because they will know what it was years and years from now when you talk to your grandchild on your lap and talk about when you graduated from college. Your story will be unlike the stories of all those graduating classes that came before. And we hope there won't be many more after this graduating class where we're wearing masks and separating in this way. And Laurie, and I don't think she's just being a kind of empty-headed optimist about, no, it's gonna be okay. She really does talk about the psychology of having come through something this hard together. So while this is always a celebration of academic achievement, I think for this group who sits before me today, this is a celebration of grit and perseverance and given this particular celebration of healthcare workers, courage. And we will do 4 more graduations this weekend, and there'll be larger numbers, but I love the fact that we're focusing on you tonight, because you are our heroes and have been our heroes now for almost 2 years. So do me a favor, raise your hand if you've seen that ad where I say to people, stand up if you're in the middle, you saw, like, who has, if you have a TV, you've seen that ad. I never do that. That was one time, it was kind of an impromptu thing. But I think, like, stand up if you've been working in the middle of this pandemic and taking care of your communities and taking care of everybody. You deserve our thanks. We appreciate it. Thank you so, so much for all you do. I'd like to get us started. I'd like to introduce our platform partner and ask them to stand up. We have our Mace Bearer, Brandy Hoyt, our academic and executive leadership teams, if you want to stand up for a moment and be acknowledged. Our alumni speaker, and then our student speaker, Cynthia, who you'll hear from in just a bit. I'm going to introduce her. Thank you. Thank you. We talk about that it takes a village to get people across the finish line and through graduation, and that's certainly true of your family and your friends and all who supported you. I was talking to your student speaker tonight beforehand, Cindy, who I'll introduce in just a minute, and she was talking about being on camping trips with her family and having to say to her grandchild, hey, Grandma's got to go back into the tent and study now for a little bit. And like all would sort of remember, like I have an assignment due, I got work to do. I met someone who said, was that Deb, I think, who said, I did my undergraduate degree here and also now my master's, and I'm a single mom and I have a 4.0. And for me, that's like never a surprise. There she is, because that's who you are, right? That's who you are. You're an amazing group of graduates. And I think about who comes here in the history of this city where you find yourselves today, some of you perhaps for your very first time. But across this weekend, we will have graduates from all 50 states. We will have graduates from 70 countries. We will have graduates of every faith and cultural background. We gathered today in a city of immigrants. Manchester was a factory city. It was one of the largest industrial cities in its day, at its heyday in the late 1800s. And people came from around the world to work here. This is a city and economy that's built on the back of immigrants, and it happens on the land that are the ancestral homelands of the Abenaki Nation. We take a minute, I ask all of you to take a moment of silence to think about all of those who came before, all of those who may not be with you today physically, but are with you in your hearts. I know I spoke to one of our graduates who lost his beloved spouse in the past year, and he's here very much in her honor. Let's all take a moment of silence, please, and think about all of those who we love, all of those who we carry with us today, and when you walk up to receive your diploma, all of the pride that gets carried with you among so many others. Thank you. For each of our ceremonies this weekend, a student speaker is chosen through a selection process led by a university committee, and that student speaker speaks to you. They provide remarks to the whole of the room. We had selected a speaker in 2020, and we're delighted she finally gets her chance to address her class in person. Cynthia Rowley, I almost got that wrong. She instructed me and I got it wrong. I'm a slow learner. Cynthia Rowley comes from Dubuque, Iowa. Her husband is here somewhere. She's a nurse in an ICU. We were talking about, as we were waiting to come in, we were talking about the last 18 months, 18 months like no other in her career. I think she exemplifies all that we celebrate and honor and applaud in all of you and all of our colleagues who work in the health professions. Please join me in welcoming Cynthia to the stage. Cynthia, it's yours.
And first, a big breath. Everybody take a big breath. Awesome. Good evening, President LeBlanc, distinguished deans, Board of Trustees, staff, faculty, friends, family, and you, my fellow graduates. I am overjoyed to be here tonight. It's been a long time coming for all of us. I watched YouTube videos of previous commencement speakers, And I admit I'm truly humbled and honored to be at this podium. I am so proud to wear this stole, but I have to be honest, he let out the secret. I am a nurse, so I am used to wearing my stethoscope. I've always known I was supposed to be a nurse. I actually dressed up as a nurse for Halloween when I was 5 years old. 35 years ago, I graduated with my Bachelor of Science degree in nursing and started an amazing career. As a nurse, I assumed many roles as scientist, researcher, caregiver, policy writer, handholder, mentor, advocate, leader, lifelong learner, counselor, educator, and now a proud graduate of Southern New Hampshire University. Every day I teach my patients about their health, disease process, medications, and self-care activities to prepare for their discharge home. Classmates, it's your turn. The doctors behind me have signed your discharge orders, and it's time to release you to the world. There are a few instructions to review before you go. Eat plenty of fruits, vegetables, proteins, whole grains in your diet. Drink 8 to 10 glasses of water every day, and conserve water in your life wherever you can. Drink alcohol in moderation, and please designate a driver tonight. Get some much needed, well-deserved rest. Wash your hands with soap and water a lot. Vaccinate. Find a hobby or reclaim an old one like playing the bagpipes in your newfound time. Get exercise to make your heart race or give a speech as your class speaker or lift weights to strengthen your muscles and bones. Find quiet time to reflect. Volunteer, for when you will receive so much more than you ever give as you volunteer. Travel, try new foods, read a book of your choosing, learn something new every day. When your new manager asks you to be part of a committee or a team, say yes, because when you're part of decision-making, you're part of the process, and you will create your best you of your career. A wise director once told me, you will regret not trying. So no regrets. Never say never. It was not that long ago. I said I was never going to get my master's degree, and I am so happy to recant those words today. Take chances, be unique, and don't wait, because right now is the oldest you've ever been and the youngest you'll ever be again. Now, for your follow-up appointments, I see that you'll need to set up your yearly physical with your new primary care provider in your profession. And you have an appointment on Tuesday, November 5th of 2024, so your voice can be checked when you go and vote. Doctors, it looks like they are ready for their discharge. Their family and friends are here to pick them up, and the world is waiting. Classmates, take care. Be safe, and congratulations. I am your Southern New Hampshire Master's prepared clinical nurse leader. I am your nurse, Cindy.
At each of our ceremonies, we choose someone who exemplifies our mission to award an honorary doctorate to and to serve as our commencement speaker. In 2020, before we had to postpone our ceremonies, we chose Dr. Natalie Laub. Dr. Laub is an assistant professor of pediatrics at the University of California, San Diego. She specializes in work with vulnerable children, victims of abuse, and decreasing youth violence. On April 15th, 2013, she approached the finish line of her 5th Boston Marathon. Just blocks away, she heard explosions and ran towards them. Arriving at the scene, she went to work administering CPR, applying tourniquets, and triaging the wounded. Following this event, President Barack Obama honored her for her actions. After the bombings, she increased her efforts in preventing childhood violence. She became a mentor for Soul Train, a nonprofit guiding inner-city youth on a path towards their full potential through running. This advocacy goes beyond borders. She's traveled to Haiti throughout the year. She's provided medical care to children and helped strengthen their fragile medical infrastructure. Dr. Laub is currently a leader in education and research. She serves as the Program Director for Child Protection Pediatrics at the University of California, San Diego. In this role, she mentors medical students, residents, and fellows towards a path of fulfillment in medicine. Her research on caring for vulnerable children has won awards and has been highlighted on multiple media outlets. Since the COVID-19 pandemic, she has focused her research on how COVID-19 is affecting children's health as well as physical well-being. It is my great pleasure to award her with the degree of Doctorate of Public Service. Though she can't be with us in person today, we sent Dr. Laub her degree, and she shared some remarks for you all. We've asked, this is a little bit special because we've asked her to take more time with you because she speaks directly to the work you do and the professions you've chosen. So I'd ask you to pay attention to the screens as she joins us from a distance.
I am humbled and honored to address all of you, graduates from Southern New Hampshire University. You are a diverse group of individuals representing all genders and identities, all races and ethnicities, all 50 states and U.S. territories, as well as 60 countries. During your time at Southern New Hampshire University, you have been met with an extraordinary challenge in the form of a global pandemic. You've had to navigate uncertain times and develop resilience in the face of adversity. Like all of you, I have had to tackle the challenges this pandemic introduced into our everyday lives. One of those challenges has been how to connect with people virtually, how to tell a story, or share the genesis of an idea in a meaningful way. With that in mind, I wanted to create something special for you in the form of a virtual experience. Now, I only get a very short time with you, but in that time, I want to share a story that changed my life and taught me how to tap into my own creativity, curiosity, and courage. My hope is you are launched out of this virtual experience with a renewed commitment to using your education and your craft to helping people globally not only survive this challenging world, but to thrive in it. So sit back and enjoy.
Keep helping these people, and we will come through this.
The world we live in is an incredibly challenging and chaotic place. But within the challenges and within the chaos, there are extraordinary events and people. Now, one of those events occurs every third Monday of April. On that Monday, 30,000 people put on a pair of running shoes. An entire city completely shuts down, and 1 million people line the streets. 1 million people out to watch runners. Sleet, heat, snow, wind or rain, it does not matter. On that Monday, the longest running marathon unfolds, the Boston Marathon. Us runners, we stumble, We suffer. We chafe in highly unfortunate places. The crowd in Boston cheers. They drink their Sam Adams beer, and everyone has a phenomenal time. But on April 15th, 2013, at 2:59 p.m., 2 bombs detonated at the finish line, an incomprehensible act of violence, shocking the nation and shaking the city of Boston to its core. Now, a lot of important things happened on that day, but the most important thing occurred within a 1-block radius of the finish line. Now, I'm gonna play for you a video, and as you watch this video, I want you to listen to what you think the most important part is.
What was that on Boylston? 833, something just exploded at the finish line. UCC, did I hear that correctly?
Yes, all units, extreme caution.
I have multiple casualties on Boylston between Exeter and Dartmouth. Tango 2, and I got 3 people down, heavy trauma. Bilateral leg amputation, we're on our way. 1 trauma. We probably have at least 40 patients. They're telling me there's a secondary device up here at this established staging area. I'm notifying all the hospitals there's some potential here for mass casualties. The patients were evacuated by some of the volunteers and volunteer medical staff.
Who heard the most important part of that video? It was the last line by the EMS dispatcher. Most of the patients were evacuated by volunteers. Volunteers running into this unknown, running into this chaos, risking their lives. Now, on April 15th, 2013, I was 800 meters from finishing the race when I heard the explosions and I found myself having to make a choice. Do I run into this? Do I stand here paralyzed in fear? Or do I run the other way? Now, us runners, we did not realize what was happening. We looked at each other and we thought fireworks for us at the end of the race. But pretty soon it became very clear that something had gone horribly wrong as a sea of spectators came running towards us, screaming, bomb, sniper, gunman, attack. Pure chaos had erupted at the finish line, and only one thing was clear. People were gravely wounded. So this is when I stopped for a moment, and I asked myself, do I run towards this? Do I stand here, terrified, or do I turn and run the other way? And in a split instant, I made the decision to run towards. Now, a police officer stopped me. See, all the police officers had mobilized. They're normally there on the last half mile of the race, but they were out now with their guns drawn. They had no idea what was going on. One of them stopped me right in my tracks and he said, ma'am, you must stop. I was going the wrong way. And then I yelled at him. I yelled at a police officer. I said, I'm a kid's doctor. You have to let me through. And he looked at me shocked and he let go. Now I started to run down Boylston Street, which is the last part of the race, but the crowd was so frenzied and so thick, I couldn't get very far. So I turned down an alley, a small alley that paralleled Boylston Street. And that alley dumped me out at what is now known as bomb scene number 2. Now, when I got to bomb scene number 2, I remember this so vividly. I found myself asking this question: how am I going to bring someone back from the dead? Now, I went to work as fast as I could that day, triaging the wounded, tourniqueting legs. I took my own shirt off and I packed a woman's groin wound with it. I ended up treating 4 people that day, and 3 of them survived. Now, in the aftermath of this, I was interviewed extensively by multiple media outlets, the New York Times, the LA Times, the BBC, and by my favorite reporter of all times, Anderson Cooper. Hopefully at the end, we'll be able to come out with some sort of peace. And I know I plan on running the marathon again next year.
I wish I was in good enough shape just to run it.
You could run it.
No, I don't think I could. I
You
wish I
could run it.
'cause
I
I'd like
believe
to
in
be
you.
part of it. Well, we'll see. Maybe I'll try to train.
All these journalists and all these reporters, they all had the same question. Their question was why? Why did you run into such a dangerous situation when everyone else was going the other way? And for a long time, I did not have the answer to that question. I thought something was wrong with me. But then it dawned on me one day, they were asking the wrong question. The question they should have been asking is how? How do we teach people that chaos and challenges are not our enemy? Rather, they can serve as an opportunity to alleviate suffering, to improve the human condition, and to take action. So I'm a scientist by training, and now that I had this question, I wanted to answer it. So I interviewed dozens and dozens of people who were first responders by choice, so EMS drivers, police officers, firefighters. We also interviewed people who had found themselves in national disasters, such as floods, hurricanes, or mass shootings, to see how they responded. Then we looked at their brains. So the first thing we discovered has to do with this part of our brain, our amygdala. This is one of the most primitive parts of our brain. It's our fight or flight center, but it's also our reward center. When you do something good, when you do something altruistic or courageous, this part of your brain lights up like a beacon. It's the most active part of your brain after an act of courage, and guess what it's releasing? Dopamine. How cool is that? Our brains are actually wired to reward us when we do something kind, selfless, or courageous. Now think about how your body feels when you have to step up to the plate, when you have to do something that you're uncomfortable with. Sometimes we feel anxious, we feel nervous, our stomach gets a little queasy, our palms get wet, our mouth goes dry. A lot of people misinterpret this as apprehension or fear, but in reality, this is our body encouraging us, priming us to take action. So how do we turn apprehension into action? It has to do with this part of our brain, our prefrontal cortex. Our prefrontal cortex is responsible for higher decision-making, executive functioning. It is directly connected to your amygdala. Now, when we looked at the brains of first responders, both the people who had chosen to be first responders and also the people who had found themselves unexpectedly running towards a challenging situation, the connections between their amygdala and their prefrontal cortex were stronger than the average population we compared them to. They had more connections, more synapses. Right? The amygdala could talk more quickly to the prefrontal cortex. So how do you make connections stronger in your brain? What is the one way that you can grow new brain cells, create new synapses? It's through practice. And the remarkable thing was when we interviewed all of these people who were first responders, guess what they said? They said, we find ways to practice courage in our everyday lives. We don't wait for an extraordinary event to occur. We seek out normal opportunities in our everyday lives that can give us the practice we need to be courageous and to be ready to step up to the plate when called upon. Now, I'm going to end with a final thought. I take a lot of my thoughts from nature, because we can learn so much from the natural world around us. And in nature, there is something called a superorganism, like bees or ants. It's when some group comes together and accomplishes something that they could never do individually. Now, there's a lot of evolutionary biologists and scientists who actually do not believe that humans have what it takes to truly meet the definition of a superorganism. But I disagree. Take a look at this photo. In this photo, you have the first responders. You have the leaders of the city of Boston. You have victims who lost their limbs on the day of the bombing, and you have families who lost loved ones. We all came together exactly 1 year later, and we met at the finish line. Now, the day started out very solemn and very quiet. But as we met each other, we began to realize something. We realized how important we all were to each other in that moment of pure chaos, how important our actions were. Now, we could not predict the ripple effect our actions would have on everyone for the rest of their lives. And we had all acted in such a way that 270 lives were saved that day, and that everyone who left the scene alive stayed alive. We had become a superorganism. Leadership starts with us, with our individual actions, and realizing how important our actions are. You may not be able to realize it in real time, just as I did not know in real time on that day of the bombing how important my actions would be. But I do know if you live your life in such a way where you commit to creativity in your thought process, curiosity about how to better the human condition, and courage in your everyday life, you will be fit to lead any group to extraordinary breakthroughs and help people not only survive in this challenging world, but thrive in it. I'll leave you with this.
Normal times, we would, of course, have a speaker fly in from wherever. Natalie would have flown in from San Diego. We're not in normal times. And they would get up and they would do their speech. She actually produced that for you all. Like, this isn't a canned thing. Her husband works in the creative industry, and they did this for the event tonight for you all. And I think it was amazing. I'm blown away by it. Each year, we recognize faculty members with our Excellence in Teaching Awards. These awards are especially meaningful as they are all student-nominated. Our 2020 and 2021 recipients were sent their award plaques at home when announced, but we'd like to acknowledge them again here today. So if you are here, I ask you to stand and be recognized. The 2020 Excellence in Teaching Award recipients were Dr. Audrey Rogers, Rebecca Libby, Karina Hayward, and Joseph Whitworth. The 2021 Excellence in Teaching Award recipients were Dr. Jennifer McGinnis, Greg McHale, Dr. Eric Jett, Lisa Staley. We also received thousands of student nominations to recognize an outstanding advisor and the significant impact they have on student success. Each year, one deserving faculty advisor, one deserving professional advisor, and 2 academic advisors are awarded an Excellence in Advising Award. Once again, the recipients have already received their awards, but it's important that you hear their names and ask them to stand if they're here today. The 2020 Excellence in Advising Award recipients were Nina Fink, Micheline West, Megan Lucier, Jeffrey Hanlon, Joshua Demule, and Andrew Porgazaleski. And finally, the 2021 Excellence in Advising Award recipients were Colleen Bolton, Professor Andrea Bard, Ashley Barker, Zachary DeJesus, Haley Mount, and Dana Hark. Congratulations to all of them, and thank you for all you do for our students. While we're fortunate to be able to gather here, I mean, almost giddy, in my case, to be with you all today celebrating, we know, and no group knows better than this group gathered here, that this has been a very tough year. We sadly lost a number of graduates in 2020 and 2021. They were close enough to the finish line that we could award them posthumous degrees. And I'd ask you to turn your attention to the screens as we remember them. In a normal, not pandemic year, I might read 1 or 2 names. When I saw the list, I was stopped in my tracks because it's so long, and it reminds us that even in this moment of joyous celebration, we've lost too many people, and you've saved so many of you who work in the trenches, like Cynthia. So I want to take a moment, read their names, and celebrate them, and think about them and wish that they could be here with us tonight. Ryan Martin, Patrick Fuller, Justin Lowery, Jeffrey J. Mitchell, Kimberly Barry, David Jensen, Brianna Knight, Nancy Massey, Zachary Overy, Caitlin Velsenor, Vanessa Diaz, Anthony DeJohnson, Christine M. Hubert, Sonia Logan, Christopher Pollard, Michelle Renaud, Jacob Dickerson, Dustin Arthur Kelleher, Alexander Moore, Leslie Mae Weber, Howard Towell. We're proud of them as graduates of SNHU, as we are proud of you. So we're getting to the part that everyone's been waiting for, which is when we actually get to hand you that well-earned diploma. Before we begin reading names and invite you up for a photo, just a few instructions and housekeeping notes. There'll be an aisle marshal who will come to your aisle. They'll dismiss you by rows, starting with the back row. You'll hand your card to the name readers and come to the front of the stage to get your diploma cover. We recommend at the point when you're so poised to come up, you can remove your mask if you wish, so that the photography software can recognize you and your photos will appear in your account. And before we do, and we are going to, it takes all my self-restraint because I want to hug and shake hands, but we're going to hand you your diploma. We'll take that picture as opposed to a handshake. There's one legal piece we have to do as well. It's just a funny little bit of legalese. I'm going to invite Dr. Jennifer Batchelor, our Senior Vice President of Academics, to help me confer the degrees. But we're going to do a little bit of a formal reading of legal language. Jennifer?
Will the classes of 2020 and 2021 please rise? President LeBlanc, the candidates standing before you have successfully completed the course of studies prescribed by the faculty of Southern New Hampshire University and have fulfilled all requirements for their chosen curricula.
Now the legal part. By the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Southern New Hampshire University and by the General Court of the State of New Hampshire, I hereby confer the degrees of International Master of Business Administration, Master of Arts, Master of Business Administration, Master of Education, and Master of Science, Bachelor of Applied Science, Bachelor of Arts, and Bachelor of Business Administration, and Bachelor of Science, Associate in Arts and Associate in Science, with all the rights, honors, and privileges pertaining thereto. Please be seated. Before we come down to the front to hand out diplomas, there's one I need to do while I'm up here. Cynthia, would you step forward? Our first graduate. Dr. Boucher, would you join me up front?
Stephanie Angie Leslie Lelane. Caroline Karanja, magna cum laude.
Evan Douglas Grayson, summa cum laude.
Whitney J. Griesbach.
Dylan Guillaume.
Margarita Cristal Ortiz.
Ivan Turyaheba.
Marceni D. Samadal, cum laude.
Ayobami Oyadiji.
Joy Isoken Igile.
Amy Imade Oriaki.
Kemar Reed.
Ryan Higgs.
Junelia Diaz Santos, summa cum laude.
Diana Yasmin Zing Sandoval.
Catherine Kaba, cum laude.
Suzanne R. Colonna, summa cum laude.
Tracy Guerrier.
Victoria Malin, summa cum laude.
Maria Agramonte, magna cum laude.
Erica Ribeiro, cum laude.
Hakiza Safi.
Patrick Claire Countryman, cum laude.
Loretta Oruma Mukoro, summa cum laude.
Georgette M. Santilli, cum laude.
Yvonne Ebiakpor Davis, summa cum laude.
Amanda Sebastian.
Aisha Baki, magna cum laude.
Elizabeth Briha.
Troy Cox.
Zakia Fatima Nieves.
Paul D. Gala.
Mackenzie Ross, summa cum laude.
Ashley Marie Mora.
Lisa D. Sharp Grady.
Vivian
Kristen Elizabeth Silverman.
Vivian Agbali, cum laude.
Eileen Marr, magna cum laude.
Awais Hussein, magna cum laude.
Martha Bonayudo, summa cum laude.
Alexandria Cholovinsky, magna cum laude.
Leonilde W. De Pina, cum laude.
Leah Elaine.
Adina Trombley.
Abiola Romeluyi, magna cum laude.
Olivia Marie Paquette.
Henriette Niranziza.
Jessica Aleman.
Corinne Asha.
Christina Leus, summa cum laude. Harold Hinckley.
Christina Nakilija.
Jennifer Klebeck.
Selamawit Wandimu.
Elizabeth Louise Gray. Tania Guadalupe Jimbo Yapa, summa cum laude.
Augustin Muhizi.
Taylor O'Donnell.
Shantae Delilah Nuri, cum laude.
Rhonda Anderson, cum laude.
Robert N.D. Dennis.
Tori Sequeira, magna cum laude.
Shayna Westover, cum laude.
Sharon Singson.
Lindsay Lee Fisher.
Madison Tinsley, summa cum laude.
Mary Rose Williams.
John Arthur Castleman, magna cum laude.
Josephine Vidal, cum laude.
Joel Chipperini, magna cum laude.
Shireen Bernard.
Anastasia Johnson.
Quindell Jones, magna cum laude.
Jasmine Aguzma.
Deborah Cristina Santos, summa cum laude.
Gabriela Luisa Zampi.
Sabarinthia Mool, summa cum laude.
Sean Hanrahan.
Laura M. Mays.
Maureen M. Ovett, summa cum laude.
Tony R. Pete.
Amanda Reidenauer, cum laude.
Elisa Cumwenda, summa cum laude.
Heather Marie Jarvis.
Rosemary Niles, summa cum laude.
Angela Gentile, cum laude.
Samantha Gilhooly.
Mary Logidice Croce.
Trisha Boucher, magna cum laude.
Laura Catherine Hilliard.
Kimberly Diane Steinberger, summa cum laude.
Tina Marie Robertson, cum laude.
Michael Joseph Fitzgerald.
Stevie Jackson.
Rian C. Coover.
Brenda Thonis.
Christine Marie Ogden.
Gregory William Stowe.
Koana Melvin, summa cum laude.
Anastasia Elias Centulis, summa cum laude.
Helen Wahoo Curia, magna cum laude.
Heather F. Puente.
Erin Suzanne Hardy.
Shannon Kennedy Rios, magna cum laude.
Nikita Lynn Vieira.
Jennifer Susan Johnson.
Shireen Kenora Dobbin. Bianca Carmel Alexis.
Jennifer Lynn Sunquist.
Maritza Barrios. Sarah Carver. Joy Maramidola, summa cum laude. Roxy L. Reyes, cum laude. Smitha Ann Jacob. Baz Abrar. Harrison Wangi, cum laude. Lynn Ann Benoit. Haley Corliss. Cassandra Lynn Ruiz, summa cum laude. Virginia Rizzi Vega, summa cum laude. Kalisa Murray, cum laude. Michael W. Perry, summa cum laude. Portia Sanders Lihauko. Laura Dinny Beng. Devin Scott Cooper. Sarah Lene Goss. Stephanie Scott, cum laude. Tiffany Ann Knox. Doreen Marie Otero, summa cum laude. Jasmine Clarissa Eleazar Schaefer, summa cum laude. Kayla Lorene Henson. Christina L. Burke, summa cum laude. Pamela D'Amelio, magna cum laude. April Gill, summa cum laude. Deborah Abbey. Sharon May Rosemary Bailey. Stacy Elizabeth Sullivan, summa cum laude. Shepard Hewins. Angelia Jennifer Hale. Charles D. Burke III, summa cum laude. Eduardo Nelson. Shanice Thompson, summa cum laude. Tiffany Dooley, summa cum laude.
I'm not supposed to speak, but I can't help it. Congratulations, everybody. You were amazing. Amazing. And I don't know if you heard it, but when our next to last graduate came up on my side, the chorus we heard from up here was, "Go Daddy, go Daddy, go Daddy, go Daddy." And here comes Daddy right now as we speak. So Sam, do you want to send us off? Our alumni speaker will join me up here and we'll finish up the ceremony.
Congratulations to the newest graduates of Southern New Hampshire University. On behalf of the Alumni Board of Directors, I am honored to officially welcome you to the SNHU Alumni Association. Today, more than 170,000 SNHU alumni around the world congratulate you on your success and hope you will be an active part of our global SNHU community. At this time, if you are one of our learners who has earned an associate's or bachelor's degree, I invite you to participate in the ceremonial tradition of moving your tassel from the right side of your cap to the left. As you go forth today, always remember the university's motto, Summa Optimaque. In English, the greatest and the best, and indeed you are. Congratulations.
I want to thank the members of the New Hampshire Pipes and Drums for playing during our commencement exercise, and special thanks to our commencement speaker, Dr. Natalie Laub. The recessional will begin with a call of our bagpipers, followed by the platform party, faculty, and then the graduates, beginning with the front row. Please wait for the row in front of you before exiting in the center aisle. Guests are asked to exit and meet their graduates outside. Thank you and congratulations.
you.